In this video, I'm going to explain how to add a region map and a little bit of information about a region map to your PowerPoint for your poster on your research country. To begin with, we need to start by going to the OneNote drive, the OneDrive, to the file that I shared with you, which is called Travel the World. And you can see it's also shared with Mrs. Clarides and students from our class. We're going to begin by clicking on this Travel the World. Now, a region map should show the area that your country is located in. So some of the countries nearby. So if we were talking about Cyprus, we would be looking at the countries of Egypt, Turkey, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, in order to show where Cyprus is in reference to other places. In order to find that, we're going to use this map library of the University of Texas again. So I'm going to click here. Later, we're going to go back and add it to our PowerPoint. Let's talk again about the country of Lesotho, which is in the southern part of Africa. I'm going to select Africa from over here on the left. And as you can see, I've already used the Africa political map. An important thing to note here is that this map is in PDF format. Rather than looking for just Lesotho, which is going to give us just the one country without the surrounding countries, we want to look at an Africa map that's going to show us the surrounding countries. And we're going to end up cropping it. So it doesn't matter how big it is or how many other countries it shows. This map is going to show the entire political, meaning all of the other countries, the entire political map of the continent of Africa. If we want a PDF format, and you can see by looking at the bottom left part of the screen, you'll see what kind of file it is. If we choose this, we may have to change it into another format because we won't be able to insert a PDF into our file. Alternatively, we could choose this Africa political map from 2011. The problem with choosing maps that are not recent is that things maybe have changed. So for example, in Africa, the country of South Sudan is not going to exist on a map from 2003. So I'm just going to show you an example. Let's look at this map. And if we look here at the country of Sudan, we see that a newer country, which is called South Sudan, doesn't exist. If I go back and I look at the more recent map of Africa, and this one is in PDF format, that's why it takes a little bit longer to download, we can see that now there's a new country of South Sudan. And so for the purposes of your project, you need to have all of the countries in your region. Now, if I look at using this map, if I look down here and I use the PowerPoint, we see that here's Lesotho with its capital, here's South Africa, Pretoria, we see Swaziland, we see Mozambique. Let's check and see if the map from 2011 is any different. Well, that looks good. It has South Sudan. And then when we look down here, it has everything that we need. So we can use this map, which is a JPEG. And let's check for sure. Yep, we can see in the address here that it tells us it's a JPEG. So it's better if we can use a JPEG. So we're going to use a JPEG, which it shows here that it's .jpg, which means that it's a JPEG. So I'm going to download this and save it to my downloads. Alternatively, you could also copy the image. Save it to downloads. You can see that this bounced. And here it is. This is my map here in my downloads. The next thing I need to do is go back to my OneDrive and open my PowerPoint that's named properly, my last name, Iannacone, and Lesotho. So if I send this to my teacher, they'll know what project we're talking about. So I'm going to open this. And the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to edit it in PowerPoint Online. Now, at this point, this is the number of steps that I've completed. I've renamed my poster, it's Lesotho. I have my map of Lesotho here. I've included all the information I got from National Geographic. And I'm now at the point where I want to add my regional map. So I'm going to start by deleting this box, because this is where I'm going to place my regional map. I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to choose to insert a picture. And I'm going to choose my picture from my downloads. Choose. Now, it's inserted the map. The problem is I don't want to have a whole map of Africa. What I want is a map just of Lesotho and the surrounding region. So I'm going to make this a little bit, the view a little bit bigger so I can see it in more detail. And when I click on this, I'm going to get the option to crop. You could also double click and you're going to get the option to crop. So I'm going to click on crop. And these little corners are going to show up. I'm going to crop it down. And I think that I'll get pretty close here. And I'm going to use this little corner as well to here. And when I click off of it, now I'm going to make it a little bigger so I can actually see what I've done. So that's pretty handy. We have Lesotho, we have South Africa, we can see Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, Mozambique. Okay? So now I'm going to go back to my other view, make it a little bit, my view a little bit smaller, and I want to place this next to my other map. Now, I would like my maps to be the same size, so I think I'll make this one a little bit bigger. And maybe I want this one to be a little bit smaller. So when those red lines and the other lines pop up, they're telling me, now I have my map of, let's look at it as a presentation and see how it looks. Okay, so I have country of Lesotho. We can see that it's completely surrounded by South Africa. Then when we look at this map, we can see in better detail that this is the southern tip of Africa and the countries that surround it. I have my information here, right? And I still need to put my tourist attraction and my fascinating information. So that's how, now that's how you add a region map. If I close this, I'm going to close this as well. And I go back to my OneDrive and I refresh. And I refreshed by hitting Command R, or else I could use this up here. If I refresh, what I see is that my map, my Iannacone Lesotho was updated just about a minute ago. And that's exactly what I want. So it's been saved, and I could share this with my teacher, but it's already actually shared with my teacher. So I hope that helps you following these instructions. Good luck.